Boxing. I love boxing so much. I think boxing is such an incredible sport. I wasn't into boxing growing up, and then recently I started really getting into the sport the moment YouTube boxing became a thing. Seeing all these influencers getting into boxing really made me want to do boxing. And eventually I will do boxing. I really am curious to want to get in the ring myself and see how it is. Not professionally or nothing like that, but just in general, like at a gym or something, just to get into the sport, of course, because I think boxing is just such a really dedicated sport that really pushes you to your limits, and I really respect the sport for that. I really admire anybody that goes into the ring. I know one thing in boxing that people talk about a lot recently is Jake Paul. Jake Paul is a new upcoming boxer who has made quite an impression, but also somewhat controversial. Jake Paul has had about 10 fights now, right? And I watched almost every single one of them. I'll be honest, Jake Paul, at first I didn't take him seriously as a boxer, but eventually he got more mature, he became more of a pro, and he put in the work. The only thing about Jake Paul's matches are his opponents, because a majority of his opponents are somewhat of age, you know. He fights a lot of past pros, which is cool, but they're not in their prime. Except, you could say, Tyron Woodley. That was a good fight, even though he's technically a UFC fighter. Jake's last fight, I didn't really give that much attention to. I was like, who? I forgot that he even had a boxing match until I was reminded of it, so I checked it out because I have the De Anza subscription. And when I saw the fight, it was such a disappointment. I was like, so much hype for Jake's opponent to come in, and he wasn't even in shape. He kept flabbing on the side of the stomach. He was just getting knocked down. I was like, what? What kind of fight was it? This was so disappointing. Now, recently, Jake came out. There was this whole big thing on Netflix. They come up with a trailer of Jake announcing his next opponent, and it's against the one, the only, Mike Tyson. Mike Tyson, right? The best boxer of all time, right? One of the best streaks you've ever seen. You know, one of the best knockouts in the sport. And it's exciting because it's Mike Tyson, but it's also such a huge eyebrow raise because he's 57. But yet at the exact same time, despite Mike Tyson's age, he can still bring it though. As of right now, Mike Tyson has already released like footages of him training and he's going. But when I look at the stats, right, it's just still, you can't believe it. Jake Paul is 27 years old. Mike Tyson is 57 years old. He's almost in his 60s. He's just about there. And there's a 30-year gap between these two. Jake has had 10 fights, Mike Tyson 58. Jake has won 9, Mike won 50 fights. Jake lost one fight against a pro boxer around his age, which was Tommy, and Mike has lost only 6 fights throughout his whole career. It doesn't really match up. It's such a drastic gap in experience, right? And most importantly, in age. And when you see Mike Tyson, right, the footages that were leaked, I'm gonna be honest, I was still impressed despite the age that he's at 57. I've never seen a 57-year-old man move like this before. Ugh. Yeah, he's still, even the trainer's like, hey, whoa, wait. At 57. So it goes to show, don't underestimate someone by their age. But in the exact same time, it is somewhat of a criticism because people are trying to tell Jake, look man, we would like to see you do more boxing fights. You are entertaining to watch. However, why do you keep finding old fighters when they're not at their prime anymore? And I kind of agree with that criticism, I'm being honest with you, right? Because Jake should be fighting fighters around his age. But Mike Tyson, personally, I think Mike Tyson's gonna win this fight despite his age because just the training videos alone, he still has it. And if for some reason Jake does win, for whatever the reason may be, it's because he's in his prime. He's my age, he's 27 years old, and Mike is 57. So even if Jake wins, there's still criticism there, not to hate, but because it's like, well dude, if you won, well no duh, because Mike isn't in his prime anymore, right? You're fighting a legendary boxer who's almost 60 years old, and you're not even 30 yet, so if you do win, it's like, well no wonder. But it is still something to kind of keep an eye on though, because it is an interesting fight. I found a video of somebody capturing all the tweets that were being mentioned for this fight, including Jake Paul and some other people talking about it, right? So this is what I found on Fight Hub TV in this video. Promotion, promotion, promotion. If I'm being honest, it don't need that. The biggest fight of the 21st century in the biggest NFL stadium in the US, broadcast live on the biggest streaming platform in the world. That's the MVP way. Whether you're turning it on Netflix or showing out in person, whether you're Team Paul or Team Tyson, or whether you're a lifelong boxing fan or watching your first fight, you're not going to want to miss this event. I could not be more excited to make this amazing fight available to all Netflix subscribers along the hardest hitter of all time, Mike Tyson, on Saturday, July 20th in the summer. Okay, my sights are set on becoming a world champion, and now I have a chance to prove myself against the greatest heavyweight champion of the world, the baddest man on the planet, the most dangerous boxer of all time. Time to put the Iron Mike to sleep. I mean, I get what he's doing here. He's excited. If it is Jake writing this tweet, okay, because you know there's a lot of suspicion that most celebrities don't really write their own statements. They have other people doing it for them. I would personally never do that. I would like it to be me. It's still, I kind of, you know, it's funny. I told my mom about this, and she said something that's interesting, which was, you know, maybe Jake just wants to say that he fought one of the greats of all time, and I'm like, yeah, I think that's true. I think he just wants to say that he fought one of the pro boxers. Like in general, I don't really think it matters whether he's 57 or not. I think he just wants to fight him, which I get to an extent, right? If you have an opportunity to go up against someone in a particular sport, then you're gonna want to do it, right? Now here we have Mike Tyson, right, which he tweets, "We signed the contract at Netflix and at Most V Promotions. Hashtag Paul Tyson." Okay. And then we have the training footage here that they're showing. Jake Paul tweets again, "He's the greatest heavyweight of all time, the most vicious KO artist ever. But I'm younger, I'm faster, and I'm going to be working my ass off to get stronger." A member of my team sent me this video that Mike's coach put up 2 weeks ago and asked me if I'm sure that I want to do this. Yes I do. Heavyweight. So even as 57, people are still cautious of Mike. That should tell you something, man. That's respect right there. Of course, here we have the trailer. We have people already promoting the fight. People are clearly excited about it. And then we have Jake Paul. Yeah, that same statement. Some people are saying, "Mike's 60 years old. Facepalm. You should be ashamed of yourself. And the biggest joke is that you don't even slightly realize why." Oh my gosh. Yeah, people are already going at it about it because of the age gap. Dylan Dallas even says something. "You're fighting someone who was born in 1966. Have some shame." Leave it to Dylan to stir up the pot, man. But yeah, basically a lot of people are excited about this fight. Mainly people who probably aren't boxing fans, right? Or watch it here and there. And obviously a lot of people are against this fight because of the age gap. I mean, Mike Tyson clearly isn't complaining. If he's up to do a fight, I'm pretty sure he'd do it. He's doing it now. But in my personal opinion about this fight, am I excited for it? Yeah, like I've said, I am excited to see, because it's Mike Tyson, right? I haven't seen Mike Tyson in a fight in so long. But against Jake Paul, I mean, if you want to see Jake get knocked out by Mike Tyson, sure, tune in, right? But it is a drastic gap. That's the thing. Like, Jacob, you're gonna fight people around your age. Stop fighting old retired boxers. You know what I mean? I mean, Mike Tyson, it's a different subject, but still, it's just the majority of his opponents are somewhat of mid-age or almost retired or just about retired. There's a lot of hype right now. After Mike Tyson, Jake could end up fighting Ryan Garcia. I would love to see that fight. I do. I really do. I would love to see Ryan fight Jake Paul. That would be such a great match, especially with a lot of what's going on with Ryan, I'm just saying. But yeah, you know, it would make an interesting fight though. And it's really cool to see a lot of people talk about boxing, man. I'm really happy that the sport is really picking up a lot of traction, whether it's YouTube or pros. And I just think that people should really tune in for the fight regardless. I mean, it's happening. There's already been a contract signed, so take it as you will. Whether something happens with Jake, if he wins, we're gonna know why. If something happens with Mike Tyson where he wins, I mean, it's pretty obvious why. So all we can do is just wait, see what happens. If anything continues to go forward, I'm going to cover it because I think this is exciting. It's Mike Tyson, but it is more like I kind of wish you could have fought someone maybe around your age, Mike. And Jake, I kind of wish you could fight someone around your age. That's the biggest thing people talk about. It's just the age gap. And I get it to an extent, but in that same time, people are going to eventually be like, whatever, you know, like it's happening. Just watch it for what it is. With that said though, verse, if you guys like what you saw, do me a favor, hit the like button, subscribe, and hit the notification for more content as always. Let me know what you guys think about the fight. Are you guys rooting for Jake or are you guys rooting for Mike Tyson? I would love to read it. And with that said, I'll see you in the next video. Later, verse.